Your intro is, do not try this at home.
Yeah, do not try this at home. Okay, that's hot. This is just for cutting foie gras. Ooh. To try some Australian Wagyu, which is right here. A lot of, this is a picanha cut, by the way, guys. And this is more meat than fat. Whereas right here, this is, one of the more popular cuts is Kumamoto strip loin, where really you can see the marbling right here. And let me flip it around so you guys can see the other side too. More marbling, less meat. Australian, more meat, less marbling. And then we have here is just all fat. Foie gras.
So just normal salt and pepper, no soy salt.
Salt and pepper. Let's let the flavor really shine through. Very light. So I've just seasoned both sides, all sides on this picanha. And then we're actually gonna do the picanha first. If you have a regular pan at home, non-stick, whatever, you're fine. You don't need to go all fancy. So since we're using, actually, you know, I'm just gonna add a little bit of oil just because the Australian, since we're cooking it first, doesn't have as much fat. But that should be good. Again, this is the Australian Wagyu picanha. This is a BMS 9 Plus. It's my #1 seller. I cannot keep a stock of this. It goes so fast. I had to put one aside just for my friend John over here. Thank you. You're welcome.
And so what are you looking for when you're just part of the cooking process?
This one is like, there's no, like, oh yeah, leave it for 30 seconds on one side. I guess it's because I've been doing this for so long. It's more of like an instinct, like, you know, like the color too. But if you want to get technical about it, like here's a good sear that I'm looking for right here. Like, it's not burned. It's just a nice sear, especially with the salt and pepper and stuff. I'm gonna do the fat side last, only because I really want that fat to heat up and like melt into the meat, so to speak. And then after I slice it up, I'm also going to do another sear on it too, just to kind of like intensify the flavor. So that's what I'm looking for right there. And you know, it's like, I can't really tell you, you know, how many seconds or how many minutes it should be on each side because everybody has a different stove at home. So it varies as well, you know, depending on the pan that you have and depending on the stove or range that you have as well. But this is super simple. Salt and pepper, that's it. On a stove top. Not even gas. I wish I had gas, you know. So you see, like, it does have a lot of smoke. But that's just from all the fat from this Wagyu just kind of like burning. And that's what we want. Just nice brown color. You know. Now you see, like, when I put the fat side down, like, all that oil is just starting to come out, so we can lower it a little bit down. Because we still want it to cook inside. We don't want it to be, like... I mean, I like it rare. You like it medium well, medium rare? Yeah, okay. And also, this is a thinner cut, so it cooks faster, too.
And then just so people know, like, you don't go straight from the fridge to the pan and you need to...
No. Okay. You want to defrost it in the fridge. You know, you don't want to, like, also leave it out on your counter, too. Especially on a hot day like this. Get a good sear.
So you go from the fridge to the pan, is that okay? Depending on how thick it is.
Not in a thick cut.
Yeah.
Not in a thick cut, especially. But Wagyu also, like, at room temperature, it melts in my hand.
Okay.
So it does, you know, defrost a lot faster than your normal meat.
But you let it sit out. If it's a thicker cut, let it sit out for like a half hour to get room temperature, then go for it.
If it's a thick cut, like normally when I cut picanha, it's about a 2-inch cut across the slab. And if it's frozen, leave it overnight the day before you're going to prepare it. In your fridge, sorry, in your fridge. Overnight on your fridge, not outside in the counter. Okay, this is ready. And we actually have enough heat in here to do... Watch this. This is just heat retained from the pan. And I'm actually going to keep it off of the fire. There's already a lot of heat from this cast iron. And that's what I love about cast iron pans is that the heat distribution is much more even than your normal pan. This one we don't even need to cook a lot because it's already a thinner cut and it has more marbling. If I leave this on the pan, it'll just disappear. Like all the fat will just like basically liquefy. Again, we just want a good sear on it. I mean, a lot of people are really scared of, or intimidated by cooking Wagyu because they feel like, oh my god, it's such an expensive piece of cut that I don't want to mess it up. That's the number one thing. Yeah. But really, salt, pepper, nice sear, that's all you need.
And just let you know, he put the oven back down before.
Yep. Because there's already a lot of like retained heat on the cast iron. See, that's not enough yet. Because I did lower it down a little bit more. Give it a few more seconds. Same thing again. Salt, pepper. That's it. We don't want to rob the goodness of the Wagyu by putting too much spices. So this is a nice browning, nice crusting right here with the salt and pepper. That was about like what, 30 seconds maybe. So like 30 seconds. This is about a 1/2 inch cut, by the way. Perfect. So we got our Australian in our A5, and then now let's do our Wagyu. I actually might have to probably lessen the heat from this one even. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to get it like really hot.
You know, your cast iron retains a lot of heat, dude.
Yeah, it does. A lot of smoke too. Excuse me, sir. Let me just grab a spoon. So according to Gordon Ramsay, take it out of the heat and then just kind of let it have a good sear, and then we can flip it. Ooh.
That was fast.
Yeah.
And that was on a low heat.
Yeah. Well, the pan was already pretty hot too. And then from here on, we can just... And for those of you watching who actually asked me about the foie gras, I've never cooked this before my entire life. This is the first time. Same thing, salt and pepper. And then all of this juicy fat right here is from the Wagyu, the Australian, the A5, and then now the foie gras. This thing shrunk a lot too. Yeah. Like it's disappearing. Like I think I need to pull this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I need to pull this out before it just disappears. Oh my gosh, it's so delicate too. So I didn't get a good sear in this bottom one. Yeah, trial and error.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid it's just going to disappear in my pan. And we let that rest over there. This one could use a little bit more because it's a thicker cut. But I feel like it's like, is it me or is it just like melting?
Yeah, it's
like,
melting. It's like butter. Disappearing.
Yeah. Like I swear it was a much bigger piece before I put it in there.
How long should you let it rest?
2 to 3 minutes. You know, depending on the cut. Of course, if it's thicker, you want to let it rest a lot longer. Usually what I do is I put it in the oven even when the oven is off, just to kind of like retain that heat. Because you don't want it to go cold either. So... Oh, this is like hot knife through butter too. And that's pretty good. That's like a medium well right there.
Yeah.
Cutting on the bias. So the deeper we go to, the more rare it becomes. So that's actually what we want as well. There you go. That should be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One for the homie. And we have the A5 Kumamoto. This one I'm just gonna cut straight through because it's so soft. You don't even need to cut this in the bias, to be honest. Actually, the Australian, they probably don't even need to cut it in the bias. But cutting it on the bias makes it look like a bigger piece. So it makes, when you serve it, it makes it look even better. And then for this one, we're just gonna cut it into cubes because I think you get a good bite from it rather than like strips. Because the A5s, I mean, it has so much fat content that if you cut it into strips, it's really hard to handle. Whereas like if you cut it into cubes, you still get a good bite before it just melts in your mouth. And then the foie gras, we're just gonna leave it as is.